Okay. So we have seen about what is cloud in the previous class, and we have seen about what is Google Drive. So Google Drive is nothing but instead of we maintaining hardware, someone else is maintaining it, and we are just uploading the data and we are storing the data. So that is what we are doing. So, and we try to understand the difference between physical machine and virtual machine. So physical machine means something with us, and virtual machine means on behalf of you, again, someone will maintain that and you can able to connect to it and you can use it. Okay, that is the difference between physical machine and a virtual machine. So hope you're all good with physical machine and virtual machine, right? Mohammed, Preet, Vamsi. So are you all good with the difference between physical machine and virtual machine? So you understood what is the physical machine and what is the virtual machine, right? So we created a Windows machine and we logged into the Windows machine as well in our earlier class. Today, what we try to do is we'll try to just move a step ahead. So let's say, for example, yesterday when we are talking about this, we have seen multiple things like um, mainly about a mission. So what is a mission? So what is a mission? So mission is nothing but server. Mission is nothing but a server. Mission is nothing but a server. We can call our computer is also a server. We can call our laptop is also a server. A server is nothing but a machine. The difference between our computer and a server is configuration. The difference between our computer and a server is nothing but a configuration. So if I have basically, why do we create a server? What is the use of a server? To host an applications. Let's say, for example, if I wanted to host some Flipkart or Facebook, something like if I wanted to have some Flipkart or base Facebook application, if I wanted to host it, let's say assume that we do not have any cloud with us. We do not have any cloud with us, and we just have a Flipkart or a Facebook. We just have a Flipkart or Facebook. We wanted to have a Flipkart or a Facebook application, and we have an idea of creating this application. So how will you do that? So how will you do that? So first thing, you have to have a network first. You have to have a network first. Assume that this is a network. Let's take this is a network. And inside the network, we need to have a server. Inside the network, we need to have a server. See, server is nothing but a machine. Server is nothing but a machine. But whenever you want to host some Flipkart application or Facebook application or any application, when you want to host something, the configuration need to be high because you need to run it 24 by 7, right? You need to run it 24 by 7. So when you want to run it 24 by 7, so obviously we need to have a high configuration. See, if I host Flipkart application on my laptop, I can't run my laptop 24 by 7, right? So after 8 hours of after 24 hours of after 30 hours, so I should be running it for 24 by 7, 365 days. If I'm running it for 20 hours or 24 hours, my laptop will not work properly because I do not have enough configuration. So when you have an enough configuration to host an application or something, or if you host an application, then we call that machine as a server. Just that is a server. And you might hear about application server, database server and all. So which is very simple. Let's say, for example, There is a bottle. Let's say there is a bottle, and this bottle, if you fill this bottle with a water, if you fill this bottle with water, so you'll call it as a water bottle, right? You'll call it as a water bottle. You'll call it as a water bottle. And let's say if you fill same bottle with some drink or something, if you fill the same bottle with some drink, so you'll call it as a drink bottle. You'll call it as a drink bottle. You'll call it as a drink bottle. So uh, if this is a machine, if you host application on it, you'll call it as an application server. If you host a database on it, you'll call it as a database server. As simple as that. Let's say if there is a bottle, if you fill bottle with the water, you'll call it as a water bottle, right? And if you fill bottle with a drink, you'll call it as a drink bottle. Similarly, when there is a machine, if you host application on it, you will call it as an application server. And if you host a database on it, you will call it as a database server. So just that is about what is server. Okay. And now you will have server within the network. And inside this, you might host any application like Flipkart or whatever it is. You might host anything. So now, when a person wants to access the Flipkart application from outside, let's say if this is a person, here a person is standing here. Let's say there is a person standing here. If the person is standing here, and let me paste it here. If the person is standing here, if he wants to access an application, so what will happen? So he will access to the he will access to this Flipkart application. So this is what will happen, right? So then it responds and you can able to book the products or whatever it is. So generally, if someone wants to host an application, they need a network first. They need a network first. They need a network first. And within the network, they need a server. Within the network, they need a server. So if you are going with an on-premises infrastructure, you need to be set up a network first, and after that you will be setting up a server, and inside that server you will be hosting an application. So this is what will happen. To do this, it's not that easy to set up a network and to set up a server in on-premises infrastructure. It is little difficult. You need to spend a lot of money here because you have to procure a hardware here, right? So as said yesterday, to set up this hardware, you need to procure the servers, you need to procure the switches, you need to procure the routers, you need to procure the cables, you need to procure, you need to have a AC, and you should be having an admin to maintain that. There should be a room, there should be a power bill, there should be a power backup. So all these are mandatory to set up. All these are mandatory to set up. You need to procure the servers, switches, routers, cables, air conditioner. Assume that after procuring of all this, after procuring of all this, if your product is not successful, or if you lost the project, or your product is not up to the mark that what you expected, so what will happen? All your investment will get wasted. All your money will get wasted because once you procure the hardware, it is not that easy to again resell it, or you'll be getting your money back. It is little difficult to do all such things, right? So there is a network you have to procure, there is a server procure. And not just with this, let's say one single server may not handle the traffic, right? Again, you need to have another server. Again, you need to have another server. And what you'll do is you'll be placing you have to place some kind of load balancer or something which will share the traffic. Let's say if this is a load balancer, people will access to this, and this load balancer will route the traffic between the servers that we have here. So this load balancer will route the traffic like this. So you have to do all these things. You have to do all these things. So not just with this, not just with this. So again, you have to monitor the servers. So if you set up an on-premises infrastructure, you should set up a network first, you should set up a server first, and if one server is not going to handle the traffic, you need to have a few more servers and you need to set up a load balancer for it. For all this, you have to maintain a physical infrastructure. For all this, you have to maintain physical infrastructure, right? So the problem is not just procuring this and also maintaining this. So to avoid all this physical infrastructure, if you move to the cloud platform, so you will be having a services available. Assume that yesterday we created one EC2 instance, one Windows server we have created, right? Without any hardware, we just created in a couple of minutes. So similarly, to do everything, either it can be creating or a network or creating a server or creating a load balancer, whatever it is, you will be having a service for each and every use case. You will be having a service for each and every use case. So learning of AWS is nothing but learning of these services. To create a server, what is the service available? We have to look at how to create it. To create a network, what is the service available? So what is, network, how to create it? What is the service that are available to create a network? To create a load balancer, what is the service that is available? So learning of AWS is nothing but learning of those services, how to use those services. That's it. Learning of AWS is nothing but learning of AWS services, that how to use it. Now, if I come back, if I can scroll down, you understood what is a network, what is a server, right? Server is nothing but a machine that which we created inside the network. Then what is a network? See, very simple. What is a network? And you might hear about the common terminologies in IT that you will always hear about is server, network, network, IP address. And within the IP address, you might hear about public IP, public IP, and private IP. You might hear about public IP and private IP. See, let me go with very simple example. Let me go with very simple example. For example, uh, there is a, for example, there is a house. For example, there is a house. Let's say there are two different houses we have. There are two different houses we have. There are two different houses we have. And let's say this is a house one. This is house one. This is house one. And this is house two. This is house one and this is house two. Let's say there is a person who is staying in house one. There is one person staying in house one. And let's say there is another person staying in house two. There are two different houses. There are two different houses. In house one, there is a person who is staying. In house two, there is another person who is staying. And there will be a name for this person, right? So he might have two different names. One is a professional name and the other one is nickname. Assume that the professional name is some Venkatesh or something, and the nickname is something like a Winky or something. Similarly, this person will have this person will have another name, uh, something like what we call Suresh or something, and Surya or something is his nickname. There are two different houses, and a person staying in two different houses. Each person is staying in a different house, and there is a professional name and there is a nickname. When these two people when these two people wants to, when these two people wants to communicate with, when those two people wants to communicate with each other, so they will be using a professional name, because let's say we like I'm staying in a different house and you guys are staying in a different house. If you want to talk to me, you will not be aware of my nickname, right? You will be aware of my professional name, so that you will be calling me, and obviously, you'll be calling with my professional name, so I'll respond to it. Similarly, here also, when there are two different houses, if person one wants to talk to the person two, obviously he will call with the professional name. Assume that there is another person staying within the same house. And if these two persons wants to communicate with each other, so they might communicate with nickname, because these two are staying within the same house. Okay, so remember this, when there are two different houses, when a person is staying in each house, when these two persons wants to communicate with each other, obviously they'll communicate with the professional name. And within the house, they will communicate with the nickname. Within the house, they'll communicate with the nickname. So here, as simple as that, house is nothing but a network. House is nothing but a network. House is nothing but a network. And assume that this is a network two. This is a network two. And a person is nothing but a person is nothing but person is nothing but server. Person is nothing but a server. Person is nothing but a server. Person is nothing but a server. Professional name is nothing but a public IP. Professional name is nothing but public IP. Professional name is nothing but public IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. Professional name is nothing but a public IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. So when there are two different networks, if communication need to be happen between two different networks, it can be happen with the help of public IP. If within the network, if the communication need to be happen, so that will be happen with the help of private IP. Simple. When there are two different houses, the communication will be happen with the help of professional name, right? When a people staying in within the house, the communication will be happen with the help of nickname. Similarly, when there are two different networks, the communication will be happen with the help of public IP. So professional name is nothing but a public IP. Nickname is nothing but private IP. The communication between two different houses can be happen with the help of professional name. The communication within the network can be happen with the help of nickname. Similarly, the communication between two different networks can be happen with the help of public IP. The communication between within the network can be happen with the help of private IP. House is nothing but a network here. When a person is definitely needs a house to stay. Similarly, for a server, it should definitely need a network. Without network, there won't be any server. Definitely, there should be a network, and inside the network, there will be a server. The way that how we like, why do we need a house? For address, for security, right? Similarly, the server will also need a network. Within the network only, there will be a server. Now, let's say, for example, there is a Flipkart application or there is an IRCTC application or whatever it is. There is a network first. Okay, assume that this is this is an IRCTC network. This is an IRCTC network. And within this network, assume that there will be a server. You know what is a server? I just explained you about what is a server. And assume that this is my house. This is my house. This is my house. And here I'm having my laptop. Here I'm having my laptop. So now in this application, there is an IRCTC. In this server, there is an IRCTC application. Now I wanted to book the tickets. So obviously what I'll do from my laptop, I will try to access this IRCTC application. From my laptop, I'll try to access this IRCTC application. So that what will happen? From my laptop, when I access this IRCTC application, this IRCTC application will have the public IP and private IP, right? This IRCTC application will have the public IP and also private IP. Also private IP. This IRCTC application will have the public IP and also the private IP. So now, when there is a public IP and private IP, when these two are two different networks again, right? As I explained earlier, this is the IRCTC network. This is an IRCTC network. And now this is our home network. This is our home network. This is our home network. So from here, from this network, if I'm trying to access to this network, obviously I'll go with the public IP. But in general, you will never access IRCTC application with the help of public IP. In general, you will never access with the help of public IP. You will be accessing with the domain name like www.irctc.com. You will be accessing with this domain name, right? So you try to access this, whenever you try to access this public IP, so this traffic, so whenever you try to access this domain name, this particular traffic will be moving to the public IP of that server. Backend, this is what is going to be happen. We will also see this, how it will be routing the traffic from domain name to the public IP also. We will see it, but not at present, in future. So when I try to access this irctc.com, so the traffic will be going to the public IP of that particular server and you can able to see the IRCTC page. So in real time, definitely there will be having a network and within the network, there will be having a server and within the server, there will be hosting an IRCTC application and we all accessing that IRCTC application from domain name www.irctc.com and that will be routed to the public IP of that server. Yesterday, we created this server. We have not ran any front-end application or something, but we created this server, right? But we created a Windows machine. So what we'll try to do is, and we also didn't create this network also. You can ask me a question that, so you said that without having a network, we might not have a server, then how come we created a server without creating a network? When we create an AWS account, by default, AWS will give a default network for us. So as of now, whenever we create something, we are creating our servers within that default network. In future, I'll let you know how to create a custom network, but as of now, we will all create servers in our default network. So we create our server in the default network and we just created a server when we logged in. So today what we will try to do is we will try to, you understood what is a server, what is a network, what is public IP and what is private IP. So public IP is for external communication, private IP is for internal communication, and we will try to create a Linux server and we will try to access it from the public IP of that server. Okay. Yesterday we created a Windows machine. Today we are going to create a Linux machine. Clear. Now let's go back. Go back to the AWS console. So let's go back to, so this is my AWS console. This is my AWS console. And let's try to click on launch instance. Let's try to click on launch instance. And number of instances is 1. And Let's create a Linux server for today. Just click on Linux. I'm going to select Amazon Linux operating system. Yesterday we have selected the Windows operating system, but today I'm going to select the Linux operating system. Okay. Scroll down and I'm going to leave it T2 micro, which I'm getting 1 CPU and 1 GB memory. We will see this. And today we are going to create a PPK file. Yesterday for Windows, we have created a PEM file, but for Linux, we need a PPK file. So I'm going to select the PPK file and I'm going to name it as, we'll try to host some Facebook server now, at least a front-end application. So I'm just going to put Facebook here and click on create key pair and scroll down. And I'm going to allow this HTTP traffic. I'll let you know why I'm allowing this HTTP traffic when I'm explaining about the security groups. Okay. As of now, I'm not going to touch the security group because we will have a separate session on the security group. Scroll down and click on launch instance. So we created the instance now. We created the instance. Let's refresh this. Yeah. Now, how to log into this Linux instance? Yesterday, for Windows instance, we logged in using of RDP. For Linux instance, so we have multiple ways. One of the ways you can log into the instance using of a putty. You can just type putty, download for Windows or Mac or whatever it is, and you can just search this. If you click on this, there is an option called download putty here. You can click on the download putty and you can see, no, you can select based on your laptop configuration. You can select some whatever it is, and you can click on this. A file will get downloaded, and you can just give the double click on it. That's fine. Automatically, it will get installed. You don't need to do anything else. The way how you install a normal applications on your laptop. So you can give the double click on it. Next, 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 install. That is how you can able to install it. Now coming back, I already installed the putty. So what I'll do is I'll just select this public IP and I'm going to download this. I'm opening the putty because I already have the putty here. I already installed. This is how the putty will looks. You have to paste the public IP address here and left side, you can see SSH here. Under SSH, there is an option called authentication and there is an option called credentials. You can click on the credentials here and you can click on browse here and you can click on the PPK file which I downloaded. And if you click on open here, click on open, accept. So this is how you can able to access our machine. Okay. So now EC2 hyphen user enter. One second. I think I have given the wrong PPK file. It's facebook.ppk file. Sorry, I have given the wrong PPK file. Let me open putty again. Let me open putty again. Desktop putty. Or else we'll do one thing. We can also log in from directly here. Click on connect, EC2 instance connect. So directly we can also log in from here. Okay. So yeah. Now let me just sudo space -i. So these are the Linux commands. Okay, I'll share you these Linux commands. Don't worry. So just concentrate on how I created an instance and how I logged into this instance now. Now, first we will install the Apache. Apache is open source web server. When you want to host any application or something, you will be installing this Apache. Install space httpd -y. Y enter. Sorry, Y enter. So once you install the Apache, service space, service space, service space httpd space start, enter. So I installed the Apache and I started it. Now, if I copy this public IP, if I copy this, let's say if I copy this public IP, I copy this public IP. If I open it in a new browser, so you can see I'm getting some page like it works. But our aim is to host some Facebook a front end code, right? So what I'll do is let's open facebook.com. Just open the facebook.com, some Facebook login or something. Give the right click here, and there is an option called save page as, and there is a format called page source. If it is Windows laptop, you can see a copy page source or something. Okay. So if I save this, and let's say, for example, I have downloaded this page source, right? HTML code. So I wanted to host this HTML code on our Linux machine. Now let me open this with some Visual Studio Code. Let me open this with Visual Studio Code. Yeah, so I have this code, right? Now Control A, Control C, go back to our EC2 instance. Go back to our EC2 instance. So this is what our EC2 instance. So I'm going to host that HTML code on my EC2 instance. So there is a path to do that, vi space /var /www /html /index.html. In this file, you have to place your code. Okay. Now, just click on I and just right click, paste the code. I'm pasting the HTML code here. So just wait for a couple of minutes. Just wait until that code will get pasted here. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, it is done. Now, to save this, we have to click on Escape, Shift colon WQ. Now, let's go back. Let's try to refresh this. So you can see with our IP address. So this is our instance IP address, right? If I go back, so this is my instance. See, if I copy the public IP address of my instance, if I open a new page, just click on paste it and click on enter. You can see I have added HTML script on my EC2 instance, and I have opened, like I have hosted the front end page of Facebook. Like similarly, you can change the HTML script and we can do anything. You got my point. So similarly, see, let's go back to the desktop once. See here, I already have the network. So let's say I already have the network which is given by AWS. I already have the network which is given by AWS. So in this, what I have done, I have created an instance. I have created EC2 instance. And what is the operating system that I have chosen when I created an instance? I've chosen Amazon Linux operating system. I've chosen Amazon Linux operating system. So in this, I hosted this facebook.com application, like front-end code of facebook.com application. And since this is AWS network, and I have another network where my laptop is there. This is my home network. And in this, I have my laptop. And from this, here, I try to access this facebook.com application with the help of public IP, with the help of public IP, with the help of public IP. So I tried to access this facebook.com application and I did that. Clear? So The same thing will happen in the real time as well. So there is nothing different from real time and what we are doing here. Same process that, but they will be hosting the code that whatever they want. Okay, let's go back to, let's go back, let's go back. So this is an instance here. Okay. Now let's try to understand while creating this instance, what are the steps that we have seen. See, when you click on this launch instance, so first it is asking about name of the instance. First it is asking the name of the instance. So first it is asking the name of the instance. So the name of the instance means you're already aware of it. It's just name of an instance. Whatever the name that we want, we can give it that. So here. Now, if you scroll down, see here, you can see Amazon Mission Image. Amazon Mission Image means nothing but an operating system. Here we call it as an operating system. We have different operating systems, right? We have Linux operating systems, we have Windows operating systems, we have Red Hat Linux operating systems, we have Ubuntu operating system. So here what they decided is they have created as an image. So whatever the operating system that we want, simply we can select that particular image. See, earlier, if you remember, to install the operating system in our laptops, we are supposed to insert some disk and we have to click on next, 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 next and install. And later, after some days, we just install the pen drive and we flashed it and we supposed to install. But here we do not have any hardware. We are creating a virtual machine. So that what they have decided, they have added some images like this, and whatever the image that we want, we can select it. Okay. So again, we can select any of the image, and coming to the instance type. Instance type is a place which is nothing but selecting the RAM, memory, CPUs, that all configuration. So here they decided as a families. Here they decided as a families. Here they decided as a families. Families like T family, M family, R family, D family, something like this. And within that again, T2 micro, T2 medium, T2 small, T2 large. So we have different families. T is nothing but a family name. 2 is nothing but generation. And medium is nothing but size of an instance. If you see here, see, for example, if you see here, if you look at T2 micro, see, for T2 micro, you can see one CPU and 1 GB memory that you have. And if you look at T2 small, one CPU, 2 GB memory. And if you look at T2 medium, two CPU, 4 GB memory. So similarly, so whatever we need, the configuration that we need, we can select that particular instance type. Okay, that is about instance type. So you understood what is about the name and Amazon mission image and instance type. See, these are all the common steps. Even though if you buy a normal physical laptop or physical computer, you have to select an operating system, you have to select a RAM, memory, CPUs, but the only difference is the names. So there you call it as a uh, operating system. Here you calling it as a Amazon machine image. You can also call it as an operating system. There you call it as a RAM, memory, or whatever it is. Here we have a set of configuration. They call it as a instance types. If you can scroll down, key pair. Key pair, we have already seen this. So which is now something like a password. Whatever the key pair that we have given, so the same key pair we have to be used to log into that particular instance. And coming back, storage will have a separate session to it. Okay, let's go back to here. So let's scroll down. So what we have discussed today, we have discussed about, first we have discussed about today, what is server. And then what we discussed today, what is network. And then what we discussed, what is public IP, what is public IP, and what is private IP. What is public IP and what is private IP. And then later what we discussed about how to create Linux, Amazon Linux instance, and how to install Putty, and how to log into it, and then how to add how to add HTML script onto my HTML script into Linux machine. So this is what we have covered so far. Clear? Any questions still here, guys? Any questions still here? Are you good? Lalita, Mohammed, Preet, Vamshi. Any doubts from here? So, Mohammed, you're trying to talk something, but I can't hear you. If something that you have, please post it in the chat box. Okay. So, what about others? Vamsi, is it clear for you? Whatever we discussed so far?
Before, like you have created like, by you like IP address, right?
Hmm.
By using the IP address, you have like open the Facebook, the
Yes.
page.
Yes.
So will I be able to, if I get the same IP address, will I be
Yes.
able to see the same page from my side too?
Yes. Yes, you can see because it is in a public, right? So it is public IP
Okay.
and it is accessed through all the internet so that you can also
Okay.
try with the same IP address. So let me post the IP address in the chat box.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
Let me just copy it. So I pasted it in the chat box. You can give it a try.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Preet, any questions? Are you clear? Okay, so if you are good with this, today we will conclude with these topics. And again, I'll just add the video into the our WhatsApp community so that you can go and you can again watch the video. And every day at evening, 5 p.m. IST to 7 p.m. IST, the link will be open. If you have any questions, please join and clear your doubts. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Clear.
Okay.
Okay then. So if you're good, you can leave, or if you have any questions, you can stay back and you can clear your doubts.